How's it going, Ding Dongs? Welcome back to Ding Dong Drift. In today's video, I'm going to explain the biggest misconception about 3D scanning I think that people don't really understand. My process of converting 3D scans into usable 3D models. You're going to have to excuse me for the clicking noise because I'm running the diesel heater because winter came quick and it came hard here in Chicago. So today we're going to be using the Einstar Vega again because it just received another huge update, and as you can see, I've just recalibrated it. The big update, for me at least, there's a lot of new features like rewinding, scans, and all this stuff, but the big thing that I'm interested in is these 12mm markers. If you don't know, 3D scanners usually use tiny markers like these. As you can see, they're pretty small. So for the scanner to pick them up on something like a car, you have to place a lot of them. Obviously that takes a lot of time and we don't want to do that. Einstar just sent me these. These are 12mm markers, and because they're so huge, I can place very few of them while using the fast scanning mode on this scanner. So let's place some of these on the car. We're going to do a full scan today of the entire car. I wish I had some stock fenders, but I don't. So I'm gonna have to rescan the front someday, but for demonstration purposes and to do the rear, we can just get started on it today. I guess I should clarify, why do scanners need markers in the first place? Well, the way these scanners work is you have a light emitter. I think this one is the large scanner one, and then I don't know exactly, but you have an emitter of light. It's usually infrared. Sometimes it's blue light lasers. There's all different types of lasers or scanners. And then you have two cameras that receive that light. So these are infrared cameras. I'm guessing those are for the large mode. These are for HD mode. I'm just guessing here. I have no idea. I know honestly how the scanner works, but that is basically how it works. It's like your eyes. So when this emits the light, it bounces off the object and it comes back to these two cameras at different points in time. And then the scanner takes those differences and is able to give depth perception to the scanner, basically. It's exactly how your eyes work. Your eye, if you close one eye, you don't have depth perception anymore because you don't have a point of reference between the two eyes to tell how far an object is from you. 3D scanners work the exact same way. However, if you're scanning something that is completely flat like this, say we're scanning the roof here, it's completely flat. The scanner needs something to reference as you're scanning across it, keep track of where it is, because the scanner doesn't know where it is in space. The scanner only knows what it sees. If you put markers down in random locations, the scanner can reference the distances between 2 or 3 different markers to estimate where it is in actual space. So it uses the location of the markers in reference to the distance of the object to kind of guess where it is in space. Now, there are scanners that are attached to like an arm, but those are only good for like measuring points. There also are scanners that use cameras, so you can place cameras around like a room, and it tracks the scanner in space. Those are really good for scanning gigantic objects like boats and stuff. Probably pretty expensive. And it's also how VR works. It's how VR used to work with camera tracking, but now we have inside-out tracking. So basically, inside-out tracking headsets are the same as 3D scanners. They scan the room in all directions and then differentiate distances to keep you track how you're moving. Basically the same thing. Hopefully that's a good explanation. I'm not really good at explaining stuff. I kind of just ramble on. That's basically how 3D scanners work. So today what we need to do is I'm gonna pull the taillights and bumper off. My main concern today is the rear of the car because, like I said, I don't have front fenders, so I can't design the front yet. The rear, I have plenty of stuff to scan because I want to create wheel wells, the rear wide body, the doors, bunch of stuff. We're gonna scan the whole rear of the car today, maybe some of the front. So let's start placing some markers and we'll see how this scanner is gonna do. All right, so I got you guys on my chest on my Insta360 Go 3S, and I'm looking at the settings now. So we're gonna use medium resolution. We are in fast mode and we're using feature and marker alignment with 12mm markers. You can see they start showing up as red dots right away. And then we're gonna go in our lighting settings and we want it to be a little brighter. I'm gonna use maximum distance. We're gonna use maximum brightness because we got some dark spots over here. That's basically it. Now we're gonna use data quality indicator because I like to use that. I don't know if you guys can see all of this. We're gonna start at the rear I got the car moved over, try to scan the entire car. And as you can see, this is really easy with the scanner. It's able to see a ton of markers. It's able to capture a ton of data. And we want to try to get things from multiple angles because that helps determine the exact point that the scanner is scanning. And it's actually scanning through the glass, which is surprising. I didn't know it does that. Scanning my rear shelf, which will actually be helpful. As you guys know, I'm doing a rear mount radiator, so the rear shelf will be a point of reference. But this is going smooth right now. We're gonna try to get this C-pillar, because that is another important point. Start backing up a little bit. Do a little bit of the rear here. I'm sorry if the Go 3 is too low. Point it up a little bit. I don't want to open the garage. It would give me a lot more room, but it is damn cold outside, so I'm gonna keep it closed and just deal with it. The thing I'm most concerned about, that I think it will still have issue scanning, is the roof, because it is completely flat. And the wheels are really important to get so that I can do perfect fitment on the model. We're gonna do all of this, because we're gonna have wheel wells that are also going to be part of the design. So you see our quality right now of the scan data is pretty bad. It's red, so we're gonna stick around in this area and do some more scanning of it. See, now the data is green, which means we can move on. Underside here. Let's get the B pillar. This is probably not the best course to take. I should probably use the markers here. So you guys are not going to be able to see the scanning of the roof because it's going to be too high for the camera, but I didn't put a scanner or a marker right in the middle there between the two markers, so it's kind of having a hard time reaching the front windshield, but let's try it anyways. Have more markers here in the front. Maybe we'll pick those up. Oh yeah, there we go. It's got them. I can take the Go 3. I can do this. See, we got the markers, so we will have to come back to those. You can see I have a big blank spot there. I should have put more markers there because it's just such a thin area. It's having a hard time aligning with that. Like I said, the roof is going to be an issue. It is looking dang good. So see, this is a new feature now. You can rewind your scans and start over. So say like something got messed up, you can rewind it. See that? That is incredible. So you can rewind it to say you messed up something or you want us to try to do a different scan of something. You can just rewind it right back. That is so freaking awesome and so fast. We're just gonna continue scanning. It's gonna try to find where we are in the car. And there it goes. No problem. Now the reason I don't have any markers here on the bottom is because we have so many bumps and ridges and texture and stuff, and the whole area is so dirty that we don't need any markers. You only really need markers for flat, shiny, clean areas. It's the only reason we need markers. Otherwise, we are good to go. I really want to scan this corner because this corner, I don't know if you can see that, but this corner of the car has a lot of damage that I really want to cover up with the 3D print and not have to do any body work. All right, so the whole scan is complete. It is currently meshing on the scanner. Once it's done meshing, I'm going to upload it to my account. We will hop on the computer and we'll take a look at what we got. I actually deleted the whole front of the scan because I scanned over the front again and I got a weird skew I didn't want to deal with. I'll do a better scan of the whole front once I have the fenders. For now, there's no point. I literally can't do anything without the fenders in terms of designing the front wide body. So we're gonna do just the rear today. But first, I gotta take all these markers off the rear of the car. I'm gonna leave them on the front, but we got to take them off the rear. All right, so we're on my computer. We're in my program of choice. You can see I have this scan uploaded right here and it doesn't line up. So the first thing we have to do is line it up with the floor, which is this model I have here. And I realize I need to give it some thickness because right now I can't see where it is. Okay, so here's our floor. We're gonna do our best to line up the scan with the floor because we know the floor in the scan is flat and we know the floor in the model is flat. So the hardest part is lining it up with the car actually. I'm gonna use the rear windshield because I have a good scan of it. And what I like to do in Maya is find like a very distinct point that is easy to pick. This trunk point right here. I'm gonna set my pivot to the trunk point. And now I'm gonna place the model on the trunk point here. See how it's on right there? And now, we'll go back in the top view, line everything up as good as I can. And it looks like things are lining up pretty well. Let's just duplicate everything to the other side and we will see how it lines up. You can see not lining up great. So the trunk here lines up pretty nicely. It's gonna obviously need some more adjusting, but we're pretty close. All right, it's the next day. As you can see, got the model pretty lined up. It doesn't really matter right now because everything's gonna change anyways. I'm gonna move things around. As you can see, the wide body is not wide enough at all. The wheels are sticking out a bunch. The trunks don't line up. So a lot's got to change because I'm just using, for now, I was just using my old scan, which was just half of the car, and also a 3D model that I found of the SC, which obviously isn't perfectly accurate compared to a real car. So a lot's got to change, but the main point that I wanted to make with 3D scanning is people think that you know, get a 3D model or get a 3D scan and then you manipulate the 3D scan. So like you select faces and like this is just horrible. Like that's a terrible waste of time. This is not how you 3D model with scans. That's not how you do it. These 3D scans are super high polygon, not perfect meshes. There's just holes everywhere. There's so much going on. You basically trace 3D scans. That's how I do it, and I think it's the best way to do it. I'm not gonna 3D print anything today, but as you see, I have a 3D scan here, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to turn the 3D scan into a live mesh, a live surface, and I'm gonna take my model and I'm gonna place the vertices on the scan. Anything I model will fit perfectly. Obviously, you gotta account for tolerances. I usually do either 0.5 millimeter or 0.3 depending on the piece. But for the wide body, I do 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter and everything fits perfectly. So you can see here, I'm placing the fenders on top of the scan. So now the 3D model, when I print it, will fit perfectly on the 3D scan. So that's the main thing that I wanted to address because people always ask me, how do I manipulate my 3D scans? How do I, I'm in Fusion 360 and the 3D scan is just so hard to work with. You don't work with a 3D scan. You use the 3D scan as a base. Like if I were to, do something on the roof. Let's say, I'm gonna hide this. The rear scan is a live surface. I'm gonna go to quad draw and say I wanna make a roof wing. So I'm gonna start drawing some vertices, and as I extrude them, you see the model follows the roof perfectly, exactly how it is. So when I 3D print it, it's just gonna fit perfectly. There's not gonna be any issues with fitment because I'm not manipulating a model. I'm literally just using the scan as a base for my piece to fit into. That is another reason why when I'm making like fog light adapters, where I want things to fit, I don't scan the object I'm replacing, I scan the part that I'm inserting the object into. So like fog lights, I'll scan the bumper. Grills, I'll scan the bumper. Headlights, scan the bumper, stuff like that. You don't scan the headlight because the headlight doesn't tell you how big the hole is. The headlight tells you maybe fits in that hole. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I hope that that makes sense. So like if I were to make a roof wing now, follow the edge, and obviously I'm only gonna go halfway because what's the point of modeling the whole thing when you can just duplicate it? Obviously you wanna double check fitment once you duplicate to the other side. That's why it's important to scan the whole car, or at least like here I did the whole rear so that I know the exact width of the car. So there we go. And then once I'm done with that, turn off live surface and I can extrude, and there you go. The base for a roof wing begins. So now I can change it up and do whatever I want and do all my modeling on it. And I know for a fact it's gonna fit because it's modeled off the roof. All right, I hope this was a helpful video for you guys. I know there's not much content going on in terms of like building stuff or whatever, but that is coming in the next video. Now that I have a scan of the car, I can start making the rear. That's what I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna start with the rear wide body because we've seen the front, we've seen it finished. The rear has never been modified. It's always looked stock. So we're gonna do the rear first. We're gonna move our way down the car, get to the front last, and I think that will work fine. Thank you again to Einstar or Shining 3D for sending out these markers and the Vega 3D scanner. If you wanna check out that 3D scanner, it's in the description. It is an affiliate link, so if you do purchase it, it helps the channel out a little bit. So in the next video, I'll be showing how I break up the model and get it ready for 3D printing and how I join all the pieces and all that stuff. So if you don't wanna miss that, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell, because when I go on live streams, a lot of people seem to miss them, and I get comments in the live streams after the live stream of people saying, oh, I missed it. So make sure you subscribe and you hit the bell, That way you get a notification when I go live. I do these live streams completely randomly. There's no schedule to them. It's just whenever I have time to hop on and not be interrupted by going on a walk with my dog or something. If you want to see these videos early and all the renders and everything, they get posted on my Patreon first. If you want to support the channel directly, go check out the Patreon. All the renders, all the videos, everything gets posted there first. Behind the scenes stuff, maybe some new projects that you might not be aware of. Go check it out. It really helps out. But that's gonna be it for this video, Ding Dongs. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out, stay sweet, and I'll see you guys next week.
America, America. Do you have your passport?